Hello and welcome, black women. What's up? Girl, come on, come on, come on. We got to talk about it. I have gone, I have seen The Woman King, the whole movie, girl, and we going to talk about it. So let's get your libation. And come on, I got the couch. You can have a couch too. We got some couch over there. We got some chairs. Come on in, because we got some stuff to talk about. Girl. So, I did a review a few weeks back on The Woman King, the trailer, right? And you're welcome to go back and watch that. It's under my videos. Please feel free. There's some information there too. And of course, your girl, first weekend, I was over at the movie theater, me and my husband, in this movie. And I gotta tell you guys, it has taken me this long to even come and talk about it because it's been so emotional in the most fantastic way for me. Now, this isn't going to be true for every black woman in America or around the world or whatever. I'm not saying that. What I am saying to you is for your girl, I just, I felt like everybody else disappeared in the theater. I felt like I was there, and that's a testament to the work that these beautiful, dark, complected black women who are leading it all, not just in the movie, right? Because Viola Davis spent 7 years. 7 years, y'all. You know she been working in the last 7 years. She put 7 years into working to get this movie to where we saw it. To girl, you and I both know we as black women and black girls, we haven't seen ourselves centered. We haven't seen y'all didn't hear me use we haven't seen ourselves centered. Because I can tell you, at least as a African American of descendant of slaves, listen, I'm sorry, a black woman. Anyway, listen, we haven't been centered. See, we as black women have been programmed to believe that we don't have any history. We haven't contributed anything, and anything that we are, anything any skill we have, talent, gift, education belongs to other collectives. Okay? So I'm going to get into that. But I want you to know that I felt joy. Like, like an indescribable, just overwhelming feeling of just joy. Like, who I'm, we all know, if you ask me who I am or what I am, I would tell you that I'm a goddess born warrior. And that while I am a empath, I'm also a natural healer. So, so for me, I'm talking about me here. The Woman King spoke to me on so many different levels of myself. One of which is the warrior part of myself. And I hope that The Woman King brings some of those feelings to each black woman and black girl who watches it. Okay? Um, it was everything to me because I center black women and black girls, right? They're uppermost in my mind. That's who I have grace for. That's who I want to uplift. That's who I'm going to be. I'm honest with everybody, but you know, they are my highest priority. We are my highest priority, right? And I'm about black women being held sacred, protected. You guys know, right? And uplifted. So this movie just touched all of these different levels for me. Okay. I don't really see myself around me because um so many of black women in my family and that I know, the thousands and thousands of black women and black girls that I know, most of us have not delved into our own history. And that's one of the things that I really want us to get, where the Woman King comes in. It is based on true events, and like any other movie, they're taking some creative license to bring entertainment, but also I felt like what these women did, what these brilliant black women did, was actually show when black women center themselves, when black women center black girls, we build these relationships that are honest, without malice. I dislike this thing that black women feel like they need to be in competition with one another. That's why I always say, I can tell you who I am, I can tell you what I want, and I can tell you that I don't have any competition. It's not that other people don't try to compete with me, especially white women or who the fuck, black men or whoever. They do. And they are not my competition. Okay? I don't give a fuck what they think. We all know this, right? So the opportunity to see on the big screen for once us being centered was everything to me. To me. Okay? Um I am forever dedicated and grateful to what Viola um, Davis did, and Gina Prince, and let's see, Liana Lynch, Thuso and Bedu, Sheila Adim, and the crew was primarily black. The Viola produced this. So she fought for these black women to not have to discuss their hair or whatever. They were going to wear their natural hair. They were going to be their natural selves, and they were surrounded and centered in that way. And it, of course, these incredible, beautiful, oh my God, beautiful black, dark, melanated women. Oh, girl, was everything. It was everything, girl, everything. And I saw myself in so many ways. So I had so much joy, from scene one. From scene one, I had just felt joy. The other thing that I felt was I fell in love with the relationship between the characters. Okay? These are the types of relationships that I really work towards, where we don't need to agree with each other all the time, but we can be honest with each other in love without putting each other down and tearing each other apart. Okay? Um, I think I think seeing how Leona Lynch's character treated the younger trainees, because remember these black women and black girls, actually, because I think Viola said around 8. I want to say some of them were younger than that. But this is in the early 1800s that this particular event is based upon, right? And Dahomey, the Agoji of the Dahomey warriors, which is the women warriors you see in The Woman King, these are real people, okay? So, one of the things that is so important to me is, yes, that we tell a, a story, but when it comes to a movie, we need to understand, and I know we do, but I keep hearing people go, oh, we should boycott this, and oh, I don't want to see black women struggling, and oh, that's just another thing. Okay, we're missing the whole point, right? Okay. These women, we had already adopted and adapted to by then, because remember, 1619 was the first time that we know that kidnapped Africans from the West African area or the Sahara, right? They were the first ones to to be enslaved in the US, right? So that's 1619. Now let's go forward to when this film is supposed to be occurring, which is around 1820s. That means that we had been enslaved for already 200 years in the US by the time these events that you're going to see in the movie are happening. So that means over that time, because white people didn't want to go into the Sahara because they would come up missing, so they made contracts with black rulers, or you know, um, ones that were chieftains of greater numbers or whatever, to sell them black people that they were warring with. But you have to imagine, Europeans were already there now. Okay, they're already there, and actually, in this case, and y'all, you knew I was going to get into history. Why y'all looking at me like that? Don't start. Okay, don't start. You knew I was going to do it. Um, these these black women, by that time, we had adopted uh, European standards. We had adopted patriarchy. We had adopted, or we were beginning to adopt, and we were forced in America to stop speaking our native tongues, um, to um, to let go of our actual religion, and to ensure that we lost our living memory, especially as black women. Okay. So that's why you haven't heard about our history, because in the US, sounds like in Africa too, in across Europe, we are not we are not the center. We are here to have our gifts, talents, skills, strength, resilience, creativity, brilliance, beauty, everything about us. We're here to have that harnessed by other collectives, including white people, white women especially, and black men. And we are taught to worship white men in the form of God and Jesus. Because I don't, you know, people be talking shit like about like the mermaid, the little mermaid. Oh my gosh, she's black. I can't believe it. y'all need to like open up and start listening to what people are telling you, what they're showing you about their behavior, and how much they they covet us as black women, how they covet us as black girls, how they can't figure out how we are able to do the things we're able to do. Well, first of all, let me talk to the dumbasses out there for a minute. First of all, to black men and white women, let me tell y'all something, since y'all all up in your feelings and shit. And you know you can't manage feelings, all right? You don't have control over yourselves. All right, let me tell y'all something. Sit your asses down. Let me break up. Y'all knew I was gonna talk to them. Okay. So white women, black men, shut the fuck up. Shut the whole fuck up. I don't give a fuck what you think. Oh, you don't think the Little Mermaid should be black, and I don't think Jesus should be white. What's your point? I don't think God should be white. I think you guys need to stop with the bullshit. Don't try to feed me some shit, okay? Because I know who the fuck I am, okay? While you are sitting here and making sure that we never know our history. You've wiped our history and that we should never know it. I ain't everybody else, bitch. I reads. I investigate. And what I'm going to tell you something. This is one of the only um, books that's easily accessible about the homie women in the Warrior King. But I'm gonna tell you something. This motherfucker, this white boy who wrote this shit pisses me off. And you know why? Because you have a lot of anecdotes from white writers in that time and up to now who denigrate and belittle and want to humiliate, want to humble, and want to hurt black women. And even though this motherfucker tried, the truth still shone through about who these women are. Okay? Herodotus tried. There were black women who were warriors throughout our ancient history. Okay? So, I don't really give a fuck. Why, we're very good as black women and black girls getting educated, coming to get the certifications and licenses and all the things that we need to prove who we are. We're constantly trying to prove that we're not a stereotype or we are one or some other shit. Okay? And I'm telling you, with the Warrior King, my hope is that you as black women start picking up books so that you can go through this and go beyond it and find those writers who are black women. We have black women who are anthropologists. We have black women who are sociologists. And we need to read about ourselves from ourselves. We need to study ourselves from ourselves. Yeah, we got to get past the bullshit. Okay? Get through it. Pick out what we find as commonalities, which show what the truth is. If you add this book and you look at this together, and then you put a book like The Half That Was Never Told together with all of these things, right? White rage, you start to get a very clear picture of who we are as black women and black girls and what we've done in every society, and that we as black women were the first. We are ancient. The reason white people can't do what we do because you only 8,000 years old and you just fucking violent. You just use violence very well. You lie, you violent, and you steal. Any 8,000-year-old Homo sapiens gonna do that. All right? Native Americans that we know of in this country and in the Americas, all the way up and down, are 20,000 to 25,000 years old. But remember, they actually were migrating from the Middle East and Asia, which is about 50,000 years old. Okay? So the youngest, most violent, lioness, bullshit artists are white people. That's it. Okay? So while I I've had to go back through the bullshit they try to lay out to find the black women who've been writing about us and the stories that have been passed down. Because there are a lot of stories that have been passed down in my own family from mother to daughter, from sister to sister. Okay? When you start to put it all together, you start to get a very clear picture of the power of black women. Okay? Now I can hear some of y'all right now. Oh, I don't want anybody to call me power. I don't want anybody to call me strong or resilient. Girl, I don't know why you listening to what other people are calling you. Because the fourth thing that I'll ask us as black women is, do you think in or do you think out of the box? And to a woman, they're all every one of them is like, oh, I think out of the box, or I think in the box. Girl, just because I said, do you think in or out of the box doesn't mean those are the only choices. Because there's a big glaring one. And that's the only one I accept, which is I don't have a fucking box. We are often told as black women what we can and cannot accomplish. And it messes with our self esteem, it messes with our sense of self worth. In my lifetime, I've really written 8 books, 4 of which were anthologies and became bestsellers. I have 2 books, as you can see here. These are fantasy books, and I published one in 2005. The other one was in 2006, and the second one won quite a few awards. Became a cult, had a cult following. Just need to finish the other ones, but there's no way to limit me as a black woman with whatever other people think of me or believe I should be for them. So that's something important to me that I came to understand watching The Woman King. Not only do I want you all to, I'm going to ask this. Okay, y'all can get mad. I'm going to ask this. Can you put down your Bibles? Because you've been studying that since you was kids. I know because I was brought up Baptist, girl. You know you've been in church since you was an infant, okay? In my family, we got christened at the river. My daughter got christened at the river. Okay, so I'm just telling you. I wasn't even here. They were like, "Can we christen her?" I don't care. I mean, it don't make no difference because that's not who she gonna be. She is not bending the knee to a white male god. She's just not. We ain't doing that. And so, um, I did the research and I started really doing self study. So it's important that we really start doing our own homework and our own study about us. We are the original human here, okay? We are between 3 to 4 million years old that we know of. That's just white people writing. You do understand we are the creator of all humans. Now, I know because I'm into the ancient mysteries. I understand other people's belief in Christianity or being Muslim or whatever your monotheistic, or even if you're Buddhist or whatever. I understand. Believe me, I understand. I got it. That's where you are. I'm not mad at that. I'm just trying to encourage you to start reading your history as written by you as black women, because there's a lot. All right? And this was Viola's opportunity to push centering black women and black girls. Because let me tell you something about the Dahomey. By this time, black men had already adopted, and so had we. We went along with it. Patriarchy and all that, and all the hierarchical bullshit that goes along with it. We had already adopted that. So these women were actually women and girls who were quote unquote throwaways, like black men seem to think we are right now, like white people tend to think we are right now, like Asian people, whoever tend to think we are right now as black women, black girls. So these women were either unmarriageable, or they didn't think they were pretty, or they didn't think, because there were other women in this movie who were dark complected, beautiful black women, and they were in the harem, right? So the way the Agoji were put together, and they became like 30,000 strong, um, is those black women who were rejected, tossed out, sold to the king or whatever, could decide to become a goji warriors. Or if they didn't, if they chose not to be, they could choose death. Those were your choices. Because if we bring you in, we gonna work with you. We gonna heal you. You gonna grow up. We gonna train you. We gonna love on you. We gonna do your hair. We gonna make sure you fed properly. We gonna make sure you exercise. We gonna make sure you learn. We gonna make sure you understand one another. We're gonna make sure you're able to work together. We're gonna make sure you're able to stop calling each other names. Stop calling each other mammies and whatever the hell y'all come up, pick-me's and all this other bullshit. Stop it. Stop trying to separate out black woman from black woman. Cut it out. Stop talking about your LGBTQ black women. Stop it. Bring them into the fold. That's what you're going to see in the Woman King, because actually that's what warriors do. Our whole job is really to protect, provide for, uplift, and hold sacred the group of people that we are defending. That requires strategy, it requires tactics, it requires brilliance, it requires ability, but it requires to be able to really have these strong connections with each other till you're moving almost as one, which brings up another part of this. So just like today, black women were expected to cape. The Agoji, who were basically considered outcast, like black women and black girls of today, right? We hear it from black men how they don't like us. And they go down, and what kills me is they always are talking about how you look. Let me tell you something. I have big lips, I have a wide nose, I got big boobs, I got hips. Both of my parents are black, okay? My mother, very dark complected. My father was very light. They both black. I am mixed with black and black. We have been having children with all kinds of men forever. You think this is the first time primarily black men sold black women into slavery? You think it's just not? You got to go back in your history. We really got to do that. So, another book. Y'all know me with the books, baby. This is such an excellent book. And this is another one of those finds for me that was so important because this was actually written by a black man. So I have a lot of, you guys know me, I got thousands of books and I actually do read them and I actually do cross reference and all of these things, right? So watching the Agoge was nothing new to me in that I already knew the history. But I would venture to say, I'm just guessing. I don't have the numbers, but I would venture to say probably about 90 to 95% of black women and black girls have never heard of the Dahomey Kingdom. They don't know where it is now because it doesn't exist as the Dahomey anymore. It's primarily Benin. But it, Ghana, parts of Ghana was a part of it, parts of Nigeria, they were fighting against the Oyo too. So I'm just telling you, I need for us as black women to, can we just for a year or two, can we just put down a Bible study and actually study ourselves as written by ourselves so that we can come to know our ancient selves. You ask some white people, they gonna go down their lineage. Oh, my family's been here since such and such. My great grandmother was from Scotland, and she used to do this, this, and this. Well, that's because history is really important, and it's important that we don't sit here and lie about it because otherwise we'll start repeating the same bullshit that we're repeating now. I'm just saying. Just saying. Just another perspective. So, the thing that I discovered was a better way to say what I've been trying to say to black women and black girls all along when I watched this movie. And it took me, this couple weeks to really think about it and absorb it. And I want you to picture yourself as black women and black girls as elements. So let me put it this way. We have the sun, correct? The sun provides heat, it provides nutrients. It ignites like melanin, and it helps us to it helps our atmosphere, all the things that the sun does, warms us, all of these great things, right? Can white people become the sun? Can black men become the sun? No. But they have learned, white people, black people, whatever, have learned how to harness some of its energy. Then you have the ocean, water, right? Can white people become water, the ocean? No, but they do use it to provide them with energy and all types of things, food, everything, right? But they can never become the ocean. They can never understand it in that way. They don't know how to take care of it. They're destroying it, right? They're doing their best. Can they ever become firmament, like the earth, for instance? No, but they have been doing nothing but working to harness the power within the earth. Can they become the air? Can they really control it? No, but they damn sure will put up windmills to try to harness the element of the air. Can they? Can they? Can they become the cosmos? Nope. But they up there are trying to harness that too. Okay? They can't become a star. They can't become moons. All of these parts of the cosmos that are elemental, that's what you are as black women and black girls. You are elemental. And for everybody else, that's very difficult. Okay? Because they cannot ever become you. They can't. They cannot. They can't have your ability to process. They don't have your original DNA as it's presented with our brain capacity and our genome capacity. Um, we are elements. And what has happened over history and over time is that people have gone out of their way to harness us and to help us to believe that we're not elemental, that we are not the great and powerful women that we are. And we're not great and powerful because we work to destroy other people. That was never our purpose. That's why we don't do it now. If you think, look at the Woman King, if you think black women couldn't have whooped y'all ass well before now, you out of your mind. You out of your mind. The people, the women in the Woman King were, um, they were, they were not the first women to go to battle. They weren't. They were not the first women to protect people who really, as a whole, didn't fucking deserve it because they treated these women ridiculous until they agreed to be a Goji and put their lives on the line, which is what they did. If you think, and y'all been afraid of this, that we couldn't have slit y'all throats, we could have. We could have. But because we're so evolved, we are compassionate and kind to a fault. And I don't think we shouldn't be compassionate and kind. I don't think everybody deserves to be able to be a part of our elemental nature. I think as black women and black girls, it is now time for us to turn all of the things that we give to other people as elementals, as the first, as the creators of mathematics, astrology, let me see, animal husbandry, farming, democratic societies, science. I think we need to turn all that around and give it to ourselves. Because to our detriment, we have gone along with giving of ourselves as elementals to these people who, when it comes to harnessing, they are brutal, they are violent. And we can say, no, you don't get to talk to me, you don't get to work with me, I don't have to care about you. We are in a space as black women where we need to turn that around because we have experienced so much trauma and hurt from people who want to humble us, humiliate us, harness us, because they can never take midair and create from it as we do as black women and black girls. So when you can't do that and you covet it, you try to take it from the people who can. Hmm? So when people are talking and they're talking to me and they're like, so shouldn't we get together with black men? You should if that's what you want to do. I don't give a fuck about them. And the reason I don't is because they don't give a fuck about black women and black children. I've been a single parent. Fuck black men. I don't know how much more clear I can be. I don't care what you think. I don't care how you see me. I don't care if you think I'm masculine, I'm not feminine enough, whatever the fuck. I don't give a fuck. The only thing I'm going to do is make sure that black women and black girls are protected from you and your foolishness and your savagery and your violent ass. Because what black men want is for white men to give them white privilege. And they will step on a sister. They will violate it. They're going out of their way to show white men that they too can be white. They too should have privilege, even if they have to be white men's familiars. And that's with the caveat that as black men, they will never come up against white men. They will never fight for what's right or whatever the fuck. They will never fight for to come out of their own oppression. None of that shit. And for black men, when it comes to black women, since they ain't about to do all that work, you with your education, they don't like to hear about your education, girl. They don't want to hear about your experience. They don't want to see you wearing your natural hair because they hate black, period. They don't like themselves. They don't like their color. They don't like who they are. And they don't like their children. That's why they leave. And this whole thing where they got preferences, girl, let them have them. Because guess what they do? They leave them too. Because that would be work. You got to put in work on the relationship and shit. You have to learn how to care about the other motherfucking person. And black men don't care about us. You know how I know? Because they have no idea how often we're dying in the hospitals giving birth. They have no idea. And don't give a fuck. And they ain't got no plans to work on it and change it for you black women. So I'm going to tell you, as I was watching The Woman King, something that I've always understood. And I hope that you will too if you watch this movie. Or if you're listening to me now. I hope black women that you understand how precious you are. That your worth is incalculable, sorry. That we can't calculate how precious you are. You don't have a box. There's nothing but possibilities for you. I don't give a fuck what black men think. Think it, motherfucker. Well, finally you thinking about something, I guess. But they ain't gonna build nothing for you. They ain't got nothing for you. And they want to take what you've learned, all the work you've done, and they want you to submit that to them. Personally, fuck black men. No, I ain't submitting shit. I ain't bending the knee. I don't do that shit. You can't lead me because you're not a motherfucking leader. You don't even know yourself. You haven't studied yourself. You haven't done any work on yourself. I've been to therapy for years, girl. These motherfuckers won't even... they don't even know where a therapist might live, honey. No. No. I'm not going to pick you up and carry you. Those days are over, motherfuckers. And let me tell you something. I've been on this for decades. I've been married to a white man for decades. I don't give a fuck. And he knows too. I don't give a fuck about white people. I don't care about y'all. Y'all, I need all of y'all, especially white women, black men, kiss my whole ass. That's how I feel about it. And I will go to my death fighting for black women and black girls to be centered, protected, uplifted, and sacred in every way. So, black women, I want you to understand that you, as the Woman King is really showing you, you don't need to be a warrior. Every black woman was not a warrior. Okay? You are whatever elemental you are. Okay? Warrior speaks to me because that's how I'm built. But there are millions, billions, trillions of black women's stories and the things that we have done to build this world. We have brought human beings kicking and screaming through the fucking ice age. Okay? We have been their conscience. We have been their laborers. We have been their slaves. Girl, bye. We can't continue to give this to other people. We have to be more discerning about who gets to have that. As far as I'm concerned, unless you centering black women and black girls and uplifting us and doing what I just did, fuck you. That's how I feel. I'm not interested in, like, black women we don't have to agree with everything with each other. We need to actually have different perspectives because we have some serious things going on. In the Woman King, you can see there are different women from different places who agreed to become a Goji. They don't have the same backgrounds. They don't have the same understanding. They're not necessarily from the same region, but they become a Goji. And once they do, they are centered as black women and black girls. And they choose to uplift the communities that they came from. Now, we have some people complain about, they're glorifying slavery. Bitch, ain't nobody glorifying slavery. But the fact is, black men have been disloyal where we're concerned forever. And the Dahomey, before Gazel, his father and shit, they were selling us to white people who didn't want to go deep into the Saharas. And they weren't the only ones. And did the Agoji fight on the side of the Dahomey? Yes, that's where they came from. That was their job. Why, though, did they get to be in the position that they were? Why was there a woman king? And you will see that. You will understand it. Because I hear a lot of bullshit about, you know, these women were barbaric and blah, blah, blah. What motherfucking warrior doesn't have to be a barbaric? Okay? What the hell? What kind of sense does that make? Of course. Look at me. I'm a warrior. I'm a natural healer too. And you will see, like, God, her name just went out of my head. Sheila Atim. You will see that she's that person who's both a healer and a warrior, right? Because these women are different things. They're not just a warrior. A warrior isn't male or female or whatever stereotype these fucking people keep talking about. A warrior is brilliant. A warrior knows what they're there to do, which is protect and uplift and provide for the community in which they are uplifting and fucking protecting. And during times of peace, they work with one another to build. That's why I keep saying to black women, why are you waiting for black men to build something for you? We have the worst health outcomes. You know why? Because white people don't like us. White women are your quote unquote primary caregivers in a hospital or a doctor's office. And they don't care about you. They don't like you at all. They ain't listening to you. They don't feel like you human. So whatever pain, bleeding, whatever you got, they don't care, understand, and they ain't going to. They're not. But we, as the most highly educated women in this country, in the U.S., with all of our experience, though we came from being enslaved, and nobody can understand how we've come that far. Well, we're elemental, of course we would. Kind of, you know? So we can build our own healthcare system for black women, black girls, and black children. For every type of us. I don't care if you are a trans black woman. I don't care if you're a gay black woman. I don't care if you're a bisexual black woman. I don't care if you're queer. I don't care what your thing is. I don't care if you cishet. I don't care. We can build health systems for ourselves. We can. I've been a part of that process with Hispanic people in California. And a lot of these Hispanic people are either migrant themselves or have migrant parents. So they're undocumented. And they put that shit together in about 15 years. If we took our energy away from trying to prove we're this or that so we can help white women feel comfortable. Fuck them. They don't care about me. They don't care about you. They just want you to help to do this to their racist bullshit. The reason we still got racism is because white women keep teaching racism to their children. They start at home, then they bring it to schools. Oh, we can't have our own history in schools. We white people can't listen to how they roll with us in school because white women ain't getting with that shit. They writing policies and shit against that. Hell, in Florida and Texas, you can't help them be uncomfortable, honey. You can't walk past them, and if they feel uncomfortable, whoo. Because see, when you write a policy and it becomes a law, it becomes enforceable. Another huge thing for us as black women is we think that resting in our femininity or whatever is impossible for us. It's not true. It's not true. It just isn't. You can choose, and that's really hugely what I'm fighting for. Is for black women, no matter who you are, no matter how you disagree with me, no matter how I disagree with you, I want you to have choices and I want you to have great options. Okay? I don't care. I don't care. I want you to have choices and I want you to have great options. I want you to know you have choices. You can say no to motherfuckers. You know what? You know what, white woman? Shut the fuck up. No. I ain't helping you with shit. Those days are done. I know all there is to know about you. I learned it from K through 12 and in college and at working with you. And y'all are trifling. You fuck with our money. You fuck with us. You're constantly trying to be an authority when you're not a leader. You're not intelligent. You're willfully fucking ignorant. And I'm not interested in you. You are not my priority in any shape or form. I don't care what you think. I care nothing about that. I only watch you to know how to protect myself from you and to protect black women, black girls. And that's the same for black men. White people in general, shit. Okay? That's the only reason that I watch people who have decided that they want to make me their enemy. And all this time, you've been trying to tell us that we can't say no to you. We can't keep this shit to ourselves. We can't focus on ourselves. We can't heal ourselves. We have to give all our healing, all of our everything to you. No. And if you don't learn anything else from the Woman King, please learn about, go research your own history, black women. Go share it with your daughters and your cousins and your nieces, honey, and your granddaughters. Go do that. Okay? And recognize that one of the parts of your power is the ability to choose. Now, you might not like your choices, but girl, you got them. You got choices. The other part is not just studying your history from ancient to now, and it's going to be a deep dive. It's also doing self-study, spending time at a therapist, getting the tools that you need to heal the traumas that a lot of us have been through. I've been a single parent. I did that shit by myself. I bought my first two houses, the one I bought and then the one I built. I did that as a single black mother of two children. You know why? Because I stopped focusing on what white women need from me. I stopped focusing on what black men and centering them and all that shit decades ago. I put my focus into my family, like we often do as black women. Like when black men abandon us and they abort their children after the fact, honey, walk away. They ain't trying to be seen. They ain't trying to do all whatever. We hold it down. That's why I don't understand this whole thing about how black men can be out here right now talk about they got taken out of the home. Nigga, shut up. By welfare or some other bullshit. Your legs took you out of the home. That's what took you out of the home. Because you could never get me to walk away from my children. I didn't walk away. I spent their whole lives with them. I'm still with them. So you made a choice, motherfucker. Don't sit here and act like, oh, black women ain't shit, but now we got all this to take your children from you. Bro, we didn't take you out of the home, nigga. You walked. You put on your Timbs or your Yeezys or whatever the fuck, and you walked. And your daddy walked, and your grandpa walked, and your great grandpa, and your great great grandpa. You motherfuckers have been around creating all types of families and all types of shit and walking away from them too. You even walk away from your little white girls and shit. Soon as they have a child, girl, you out. You out. Welfare didn't take black men out of the home. Listen, motherfuckers, most black women are not on welfare. We working 2 and 3 jobs. Cause you took yourself out of the home. And we were left with the absolute and ultimate responsibility and accountability of our children's everyday life. And you want to sit here and talk to us about what? Fuck you. Fuck you. If y'all don't get that you have the choice to say to black men, fuck you, I need you to go do some homework, black women. You know, I I will have to tell, get more in depth in this story, but um, my son's sperm donor passed away, I want to say about 5 or 6 years ago. I can't remember. Okay. Okay, now, but you guys know I'm a whole, like, I'm a whole ass, right? I don't give a fuck, right? So he was 6 years older than me. We actually met when I was almost 18. We were in the same college because you guys know I went to college early. And then he quit college and whatever, and we lived together, and we were supposed to get married. And right after I became a nurse, shit just got strained. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. But back then, you used to have to work 12-hour shifts or 8-hour shifts or whatever on night shift. You had to wait for like the fry guy to die on days before you could get to days. Okay, so became an RN at 20 years old, and just shit wasn't going right. So by the time I was about 22, like we barely saw each other, even though we were living together. And because part of it was I worked nights, but he was just tripping, right? And I'm not the one to trip with. Like I'm not that, uh, you know, I'm just not. I never was. I just don't have good sense. It's not a good idea to try to be violent with me or anything like that, because I know how to be violent. I learned it from white people. Okay. I know how to be violent. And it's just not a good idea. Okay. I don't go at people, but I would definitely come for you if you come at me or mine. Right. So with somebody like me, it is not smart to eat, drive, drink, whatever the fuck it is, allegedly, if you fuck with me. Okay. You want to be, you want to call in names and all that shit, girl. You can't even do none of that shit with me. You cannot. Okay. So when we ended up breaking up, for the most part, I didn't know he had been seeing someone for like a year and a half. And what ended up happening is she and I ended up having hood twins. Her daughter is 4 months older than my son. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not the kind of black woman who doesn't understand what the fucking problem was. He was the problem. And so I got together with her, and we knew each other. We spent time learning how he had told us, because we were both 23. He was 6 years older than both of us, and he tried to run us both. Girl, first of all, you can't run me. But she was such a sweet and loving person. This is what I found out about the woman that the man I was supposed to marry had over here, right? So when I sat down with her, the different times I did, I mean, I held Talib, but I held her baby, right? She held my baby. Our children know each other, right? This is not the only child she ended up having with him, but he did such foul shit to her, like DV, just out of line, that he stayed in their lives. He didn't stay in mine because I fucking left. Okay? And I was like, okay, motherfucker, guess what? You come over here, I'm gonna fuck you up. So you better walk on by. Okay, that's what the fuck you better do. And I did take him to court to get child support and all that, but back then, because my son is 31 now, back then, they weren't garnishing people's wages, so he would just pay it. But I was like, motherfucker, if you come near me, I swear to God, you are going to be kissing some man ass in jail. I'm just telling you. Okay? And besides that, allegedly, he might have tried to stalk me at one time, but I ended up stalking him because I'm not the one to fuck with. I don't have good sense, allegedly. And so there's no love lost. Like, for real, that motherfucker's been dead to me for 30 years. so, so when this is fucked up, I know. No, it's not. It's just me. Anyway, so when he passed away, 6 months before that, the other children's mother passed, and we had talked, and you know, I'd separated myself completely from that whole situation for, like I said, decades, and you know, I just thought she was just the sweetest, like, kindest person. Like, she was gentle, a real gentle woman, you know? And she only wanted to be cared for and loved. That's it. And he was just cruel and unusual. And after this woman passed away, he said the most foul shit to their daughter. So my son, I was like, Nick, he showed me, and I was like, what the, how the hell you standing here not going off on this motherfucker? That's not what we do. That's your sister. Get with it. Get in there and protect her. And he did, you know. And when this man passed away, Honey, I was sitting in the back of the little church because to me, my job, and I had promised her mom too, my job was to keep up with them. You know, them, my son already had me, but, I hadn't been part of their life since our first baby, you know, was born, right? And to this is the mark of us in our trueness as black women, that really we have compassion for our children that these men walk away from. And we've had compassion during our enslavement when children, white men sold their own children away, away, or white women sold their own siblings away. And then we didn't care as black women ex- about where these children came from. We just embraced them. And that's how it was and is for me, right? So I was there at the funeral, but the truth of the matter is that it's just I was there for the food and my kids. Okay, let's be real. I wanted to make sure my babies got all of his retirement. My son and his siblings got all this motherfucker's retirement. Ain't nobody getting shit but them. Okay, all right, nobody. And that's what I was there to do, right? And plus me and his sister are sisters. We're the best of friends we always have been from the day we met. So we worked together to make sure that these kids got his retirement or whatever money. It was a nice chunk for each of them, and they deserve it. That's what I was there to do. Now, the fact that it took y'all decades to put this man in the ground or what the fuck ever, I don't know. I wore red to his funeral, had the bag, the hat, and the damn beautiful red shoes years ago, years before he ever actually passed away. Okay, because we all know he was dead to me in the first place, right? So I'm sitting back there. I'm like, girl, you too much. I really. It took y'all this long to put this man in the ground. Really? Yeah. That's how I see it. That's really it. So I'm asking us as black women to, even if you don't think you'll like the woman king, and you think a story should be told differently, there are trillions of stories of black women throughout history, throughout time, before time. Hmm. We were here at creation. We are creators. No matter what you've adopted to and what you believe now, I am telling you, please go back. Find your history as written by you so that you can pass it to your daughter so that they can know that no amount of what somebody else says or what somebody else believes about them, none of it is anything they need to accept. They can choose not to accept that shit. They can choose to believe who they are for themselves. We have to give them the knowledge to be able to do that. And the Woman King is just one of the types of black women that we are as elementals. So be you may not be built to be a warrior as a black woman. That doesn't mean that you weren't built to govern. That doesn't mean that you're not the type of black woman who wasn't built to lead. It doesn't mean that you weren't the type of black woman that wasn't built to have children if you want to, or to not have children if you don't want to. Like, the choices are yours. You have the power of your choices. And as you can see in the Woman King, we ain't got to put up with shit. Y'all are all lucky we haven't slit your throat so far. Okay? Because really, we are so many things. And we are elemental. And that we've had the compassion to not take y'all's lives after you've been murdering us for hundreds of years, thousands. It's not that we can't. And that's what y'all didn't want us to see in the Woman King. You wanted us to believe that we have been docilely sitting by. And we all know better, but because you told us, then we should just accept it if you're white people or you white supremacists or what the fuck ever, or you a black man. No. You have a choice, black woman. You have the power to choose who you are and what you're going to do with that. You get to choose what you want and you get to articulate that shit. You get to create boundaries and consequences for that shit. See, no one ever wanted you to see that you could create boundaries, train, self study, get your own history, and whoop ass. That you could say no. And you have. You have. You don't owe any of these motherfucking people anything. You really don't. In fact, they owe you to leave you the fuck alone while we as black women heal. And we as black women wrap our arms around our daughters and we let our daughters know that they and their worth is beyond measure. They are precious to us. And if you fuck with them, you're done. You don't get to talk about black girls. You don't get to say shit. You don't get to violate them. You don't get to nothing. Fuck with them and you're done. That's it. Go see the Woman King. And don't forget, girl, get to reading. Get to reading. Put it all together. Okay? Because there's so much knowledge about us out there. And we spend so much of our time and when we keep going through the Bible and the Tanakh or the Quran or what the Dharmapadas, whatever. But we haven't spent the time that we need to on our own history. And stop letting these fucking white women tell you you can't have your own history in your kids' school. Have they lost their fucking minds? Girl, we can't stand down for that. Black men ain't gonna do it. And let's really look at how we can build systems for ourselves. And we can too protect ourselves. We don't need to outsource our security or wait for somebody else to not treat us like shit. Look, you come over here, y'all know. Look at my other videos, y'all know. Weaponry and shit. I'm at the range. You know, semi-automatic shotgun. Girl, I'm not playing. I am not playing. And you don't need to either. I love y'all. I really do. Come back. Come back. Because you know we got other shit to talk about, girl. I'll see you next time. All hail the Woman King. Viola, thank you so much for the work you've put into this. And all you beautiful black women.